Welcome to part 2 of my bush detox experience, where I head out in the bush isolated with bare minimal equipment and just see what happens. Let my mind unwind and untether and share my kind of philosophical musings. Now, you're watching some footage here from part 1, which you're welcome to go check out. Link is above if you want to go watch that video. Otherwise, let's get into the content for part 2.
So about an hour and a half ago, I realized that I hadn't texted my wife my location, the GPS coordinates for where I was camping. And so I have no reception down here in the valley, so I had to climb 1 hour up to the top of that ridgeline up there just to send a text message. I couldn't call, just to send a text message. Jeez, if that doesn't scream the power of convenience, I don't know what does. I'm stuffed now.
So I was thinking about identity. Like the image that we kind of stitch together in our minds of who we are, what we are, our humanity, our purpose, our identity, all that stuff. And it's funny, when you get out here in the bush and you experience some stillness, it forces that question to come to the surface. Because if you'd ask me when I'm home, like, who are you, Chris? Like, I'd talk about my passions, my hobbies, what I like doing, the skills that I have. I could talk about where I live, talk about my house, talk about my kids' names, my wife. But none of that is actually me, right? That's all other stuff. That's all external stuff. The same is true if you were to describe like what a human is. Like, most people would probably talk about like the technologies that we have, that we've made, what we've made, our culture, our art, our history, but none of that actually is us. Like, when you strip it down and you come out here, you realize that humans need to eat. Humans need to drink water. I mean, you could go as far as say humans need to procreate, right? Humans have a consciousness, like an internal story that we tell ourselves. We're kind of cognizant of our own selves and our feelings and our emotions. That's truly what makes us human. Not all of this other stuff. Possessions, technologies, art and culture. They're expressions of humanity. But if you just strip it all away, what would be left?
When in doubt, what to do next? put on a cup of tea. So the fire's going great, and I've got plenty of wood for the night. So I figured, before it gets too dark, maybe do some exploring. So what I think I'll do so that I don't get lost is I'll basically stay in this valley and just continue along the base of it and just see what I can see. That way I know I can't get lost, and I can always just turn around and head back, and eventually I'll hit my camp. Why would someone put a tire in a tree? Man, people do some weird stuff. So I've actually spent a fair bit of time hunting in this area, but I've never ever seen any deer. I've heard rumors of deer in the area, fallow deer, but never seen one myself. And eventually what I had to do was basically just decide not to stop coming here. And since then I've kind of developed a rule, and that is, when you're in an area, the first day you're there, if you don't see any prints in the ground or any scat or any physical sightings of the game that you're hunting, don't bother going back there. After a full day of scouting and doing a recon, it's not worth your time to go back there again. So that's what I do. Especially if you live in places like New South Wales or Victoria, there is so many places that you can go and hunt that it's not worth spending more than a day in a place where you haven't seen game. So I've been thinking about relationships a lot since being out here, specifically my relationship with my wife. And just recently I've had a friend go through a divorce, and it's just not nice. It's terrible. It breaks your heart. I mean, I'm only particularly close to her. I'm not particularly close to her husband. So like, at least there's no kind of fracturing of friendships, and they also never had kids. So there's that. So I guess that's a blessing in disguise. But like, it just makes you stop and wonder and think, like, how do you know? How do you know you're close to getting a divorce? Like, I've heard stories from people who just say, you know, one day their partner just woke up and said, I want a divorce. And then you have to go through that whole process of unpacking that, and what does that mean for you? What does that mean for them? What are the timelines? Is it like irreparable, or can you fix it? Like, it just scares me that can kind of creep up on you. Or does it creep up on you? I don't know. Maybe if you've been through a divorce and you're happy to share, whoa, cobweb, let me know in the comment section below. But I know that's an intimate thing to share and talk about, but I don't know, it worries me. It kind of just encourages me to spend more time with my wife and put more effort into that relationship, because ultimately it's the most important relationship I have, because out of that relationship my kids are supported, and I'm supported, and our life is stable and good and fruitful. Man, there's so many orbies of these around, these spiders. If you're really careful. Home sweet home. Well, it started raining now, so whatever firewood I have is what I've got for the whole night, which is not a lot. This is the joys though, right? Making do with what you got. Jeez, it's cold. I figured it was foolish to just have that much firewood. I don't want to freeze tonight, so I end up braving the weather to go cut some more. It's pretty wet. The firewood, I mean. So I'm hoping that if I get it close enough to the fire that's still in the shelter, I can dry it out, because I don't want to get caught tonight without any firewood. That would not be fun at all.
Alright, before we go any further, let me tell you about the Hunting Trips Australia Hunting Club and the amazing community that sits behind it.
With the goal of connecting Australian hunters together in real, honest, genuine community, in 2022 on January 1st, I created my own hunting club, which I now want to invite you to join. Along with the standard member inclusions like public liability, hunting insurance, and genuine reason to own a firearm, our club also offers free member-hosted hunts and access to private property, monthly hunting gear and guided hunt giveaways, and a bunch more. And if you sign up to the club or upgrade your existing membership in the months of May, June and July of this year, you automatically go in the running to win over $550 worth of Gerber gear. But more important than all those things, we are a small community of optimistic and passionate hunters committed to growing and supporting each other through honest relationships and learning. And we also love feeding our families clean organic meat. It doesn't matter what hunting style you prefer or the type of game you like to hunt, our community is diverse and accepts all hunters. So if that sounds like the kind of community that you want want to be involved in, I want to personally invite you to become a member of the Hunting Trips Australia Hunting Club. Care deeper, hunt harder, and grow together.
Okay, back to the content.
So usually about this time of the night, I'll be sitting down with my wife Amy and my two sons Eli and Parker at the dinner table, chowing down on a big roast pork or leg of lamb or something extra tasty, maybe some venison schnitzels or something. And we kind of go around the table and talk about what was our favourite thing about the day, trying to be positive and optimistic, but also talk about the challenges openly. I miss that. I had that as a kid actually. Mum and Dad were really good at having family time around the table at dinner. And it was only occasionally that we wouldn't do it. I remember having to wait for my dad to kind of finish his business calls in the study before we could all sit down. And we literally, everyone would be at the table waiting to eat the food. The food would be plated up and we'd have to wait for Dad. And he could be like 10, 15 minutes. And it just felt like forever. But I do appreciate the fact that Mum and Dad went out of their way to have mealtime with us. There's some transaction that happens over meal times with family and relationships I think is really important. I mean, food just in general brings people together. Like every culture, that's the case. You miss it when you're by yourself. So I figured if you got to this point in the video, it's probably because you're fairly loyal. It's probably because you watch a lot of the Huntsman content. I mean, this video's been super abstract. It's had a lot of philosophical musings and ponderings as I've just let my mind unwind out here in the bush. And for you to be around still watching the content means a lot to me. And I don't say that lightly. In fact, it's nearly been 12 months since I started this channel and I've grown a lot in this process. I've met a lot of cool people through this channel, people who have emailed, people who have commented, people who have come to events. You know, I started Hunting Trips Australia, you know, after making this channel, and then I started the hunting club. And so it's been a pretty crazy journey for me, and I can't help but be out here in the bush, you know, in the stillness of my own mind and the stillness of the bush, and not think about that and not be thankful, and especially to you. And I don't want this to come across as some sort of cheesy kind of like thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching kind of segment, because I know I've watched those before and that's not what I want it to be. But I do want to say, from a place of, I hope, authenticity, thank you for journeying along with me in this. I hope that you feel connected and part of this community. I'm excited to see where it's going to go in the future. I've got some ideas of where I think it's going, or I hope it's going. I think I have an idea of what you guys like watching. But at the end of the day, I'm just proud of the fact that we have a super positive, enthusiastic, optimistic community of hunters, mostly Australian hunters, like 99% Australian hunters, who just want to get out there and learn and meet other hunters and have cool experiences and share life together. So thanks for watching, I guess. Oh, here comes the rain and all the smoke.
All right, so it's getting late. I'm gonna hit the hay, try and get some sleep. Hopefully it doesn't rain too hard tonight, but I will see you in the morning.
So it's the middle of the night, literally like 1 o'clock. I've just gone outside and the fire's completely out and it is so cold. It is like, it's hard to describe how cold it is. It's like right in the middle of winter. And we just had an Arctic blast come through. So it is freezing and I'm just trying to keep my toes warm. I've got like three kind of layers of socks on. I've got a shirt and 2 jumpers on. I've got my sleeping bag and it is still cold. And I didn't mention this at the start of the video, but This is my first day out of isolation. Well, technically, if it's past 12 o'clock, that was yesterday, but I had COVID last week, and so I thought this would be a great time to do the trip. Man, this is a detox on all levels. A nice chilly night to reset the body. Keep it guessing. I'm gonna try and get back to sleep.
So I just completed the bump out. It's 5:30 when I left, so it'd be about 6:30 now. And I tell ya, walking along the base of a valley and then up the ridge that early in the morning, pitch black, is not fun. But I will say this experience has been incredibly cleansing. It's had the exact effect that I wanted to have. It's kind of been a chilly detox for me, for my spirit and for my energy levels, and just to try something new. So I certainly found it interesting. I mean, it was interesting to watch my mind kind of go where it wanted to go. But I want to hear what you think. Do you have any questions about this trip? Have you gone on similar trips yourself, had similar experiences? I want to know, just let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't had a chance to check out the Hunting Trips Australia Hunting Club, go check that out. We're a great community. We'd love to invite you to become a part of it. Otherwise, hopefully, I see you in another video. Bye.